Tuesday, December 6th, Board of Public Works and Utilities meetings. Starting with the roll call. Mayor Smith.
Here.
Larry Jurassic.
Here.
I am Stephen Knott. I am here. Jared Holter
Here.
and Sabrina Steger.
Here.
All right. So item number 1 is done. Moving on to item number 2, I think I do want to make a note for the minutes that Diane Wolf and Dan Stevens are also here present. Do we have any other alders or anybody online?
Ian Stokes and Tom Smith are online.
Leanne Stokes and Tom Smith are dialed in. Okay. Consideration and action on minutes from the previous meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
A second.
Motion made by Mayor Smith, seconded by Larry Jurassic. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Minutes are passed. Next item is public input. Anyone wishing to provide public input will be allowed to do so for 3 minutes. If you're going to provide public input, please identify your name and your address. First call for public input. It sounds like we got Dan here.
Thank you, Chair. Dan Stevens, 1708 Jennifer Court, also 2nd District Alder. At the last council meeting, I think it got bounced back. There was an issue of $60,000 for the command vehicle. Having had the chance to think about that and talk with staff, I would ask the Board of Public Works to consider allotting that funds to be used this year for the community center and the legacy project. Whether it goes through the board or not, my intention is to bring that forward at council. However, I thought I would present it tonight so you could digest it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public input? Second call for public input. Is there anyone dialed in?
We have no one requesting public input.
Okay. Third and final call for public input. Public input is closed. Agenda item number 4 says item number 42, fire department. That's item number 42 on the capital improvements projects list. Fire department command vehicle with proposed 2023 capital improvement budget. So we do actually have this on as a separate agenda item. That's what Dan was just alluding to in his public input. I guess actually I'll turn it over to our fire chief to start with. And I mean, can you remind us again why this is important and how it impacts future
Thanks, Steve.
future budgets if we do not do this?
Yeah, I mean, we put together our strategic planning for our vehicle replacement. Also, we have the radio replacement that's going through. We also have an item on the agenda for replacing the floor. I think it's important to try and follow our plan. We work close with Jared in engineering as he puts together the capital improvement projects. I did a little bit of background. I talked about replacement costs for a rescue truck, and I received from Pierce $325,000 is the estimate to replace our rescue truck, which should be the next vehicle in line after the command vehicle. As I left it at the last meeting, it's coming back to you guys to vote on whichever way you decide to go. But again, I think it is important to have some money in there. These vehicles, when we do order the rescue truck, they're about 3 years out now. So if we did order even a fire truck or fire apparatus, you're looking at 3 years out. So time is kind of the essence there as well.
Roger that. Anybody else want to have any comment? I'm not going to, unless somebody wants to propose one, I'm not really recommending we do any type of a motion at this time because we have the consideration and possible recommendation on our next item after the public hearing for the capital improvements budget. And that's probably the time to do it. Yes.
And I guess would remind you that procedurally, the reason this is on here is because we ultimately had a tie vote at the common council meeting and the mayor as the tiebreaker was not present. And so we kicked it back to this body to give the mayor a chance, I think, to weigh in on it prior to the next common council meeting.
Roger, we can do that. And not only that, I mean, the vote we have here may not reflect what the common council is too. So, yeah. Mayor, did you have any concerns, comments, input?
I guess in reviewing the minutes and then hearing several people's version of the council meeting that I was not able to attend. It is difficult. It's always hard with the budget. There's always a lot more things that we need, even not only want, but need that we can't have. And I think we've time and time again, when we've put off purchasing vehicles, it has only came back to harm us in the future. And there is a weird market going on right now with vehicles where it's taking extra long to get any. So even the ones that, you know, the police chief jumped the gun and was able to get some of his ordered, but even if we approve this and order it, I mean, there's not really a guarantee of when we'll have it. So, I mean, I guess from my perspective, I'd like to stay the course of what the Public Works Committee originally decided with the capital improvement budget and include it. So that we can get in line, knowing that even though we order it, we may not have it for a while.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm of like my mayor. One of the main concerns I have is that even if we were to decide that, you know, we can get one more year out of this truck, as the chief just mentioned, well, that means that we're going to be up against having to order 2 now next year, and we're going to have a much tighter belt because the ARPA money is going to be basically spent out, for all intents and purposes anyway, this year. So next year, our budget is going to be much, much smaller, and we would be kicking that can down, having to figure out, can we do both now, as opposed to just one this year? Were any alders present or on the phone? Did anyone want to provide input? I'll certainly give them that opportunity. Yes, Larry.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I agree with what the chief was saying, that you just mentioned that the vehicle has to extend out for the next year. Well, we're looking at possibly 2, even 3 years before we get it. So that extends it out even farther yet. So go ahead and order it now, because like everything else, the price is only going to go up, and the funds are going to get tighter. We have the money right now, use it.
Unless somebody has a strong opinion otherwise, again, I still think we can delay any kind of action on this until the next item, because we have the public hearing and then the consideration of the entire capital improvements, and we can make motions there to pull out. If there's anything else that we want to pull out, we could include that if that's the desire of the committee. Any other comments on item number 42? Nobody dialed in? Okay, all right. We'll move on to item number 5. A is the public hearing regarding the 2023 capital improvements budget. So at this time, is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the public works or the capital improvements budget? Second call. Third call. Anyone wishing to speak opposed to any line item or the entire budget? Second call. Third call. Public hearing is closed. So what is the desire of the Public Works Committee with a consideration of possible recommendation and possible action in regards to the 2023 capital improvements budget? Sabrina.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to add an item. It would be item 90. That would go at the end of the 2023 capital improvement project list. This item I should have gotten added before we came to public input. But the item is for the library. We had decided during the budget process, the panic bar in the children's area and the brickwork on the digital sign. So I guess we would be adding 2 items, 90 and 91. The panic bar was $1,000. The brickwork on the digital sign was $9,000, and we were going to use library funds for those. So those would don't affect our bottom line in regards to amounts that we need to borrow, but they are items that should be on this list.
Okay. So again, using library funds, which are available.
Correct. The library funds are available. So I would be adding an item 90 and item 91 for those 2 items related to the library.
That probably needs to be made as a motion, I imagine, and voted on.
So I will make a motion that we add item 90, the panic bar in the children's area for $1,000 being the total cost, the general cost. And then less amounts other sources being the library funds. And then I would like to, do you want me to do them as two separate motions?
Do they have to be done together or are they two separate items?
They're two separate
Okay.
items.
Yeah, let's do them one at a time.
Okay, so that would be the end of my motion then.
Okay.
I could,
Okay. Motion made by Sabrina, seconded by Larry to add an item number 90 with a $1,000 panic bar in the children's area of the library to be paid by library funds. Is there any discussion?
as long as the funds don't come out of anything else but the library, I see no objection.
They already have them on hand, yeah, yeah. All right, no discussion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And then item number 91, I guess.
Yes, I would like to also add I move to add item 91, bring the brickwork on the digital sign for the library. The cost being $9,000 in the general category. And then $9,000 less amount other sources being library funds to have a net effect of 0 on our amount needed for borrowing.
I'll second. Okay, so we have a motion by Sabrina, seconded by myself to add an item number 91 on the capital improvements budget. Digital sign in the library for $90,000, which also would be funded by their on-hand library funds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, so do we have to go back to another public hearing then since we changed it? No? Okay, all right. Okay, does anyone else have any additions or subtractions they would like to make motions on?
Do we go back to 4 now?
I'm sorry?
Do we go back to item 4?
If somebody would like to make a motion to remove it, yes.
So we were being, it was gonna be consideration of
in.
5.
It's currently in. So if we are going to recommend to the common council that it come out, then somebody needs to make a motion to remove it because it is currently in the budget. Okay, are there any other discussion items of things that should either be added or removed? Okay, hearing none, what is the desire of the committee? Okay, I'll make a motion. I move that we approve the 2023 capital improvements budget as in our packet with the 2 amended items of 90 and 91.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by myself, seconded by Sabrina. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 6, roundabout alternatives for Highway PH and Theater Road intersection, including construction staging. Jared.
Thank you. In your packet tonight, I have included the 2 alternatives that were presented at our public information meeting on October 20th. We had a low turnout for a public information meeting, even though we mailed out a couple hundred letters. Got on TV advertising it, but we just didn't have any real a lot of turnout. So with that, we did not obtain any direction from the comments received. Moving forward, we're trying to move this into the final design phase where we can really solidify what's going on. So we're looking for board action tonight on what alternative to move forward with. We have included both alternative drawings in your packet tonight, and then we have included cost estimates. The full-size roundabout alternative was estimated at $690,000. The compact roundabout was estimated at $581,100. Basically, we've looked at this as a staff standpoint and feel that the smaller compact roundabout will move the traffic safely through the intersection. And if we install the compact roundabout, we will miss the signs that are currently out there, which will save cost and time on construction to just move and build the larger roundabout. So that's kind of where we're at with staff and just looking at which direction we want to head with.
Okay, I do, yeah, go ahead, Mayor.
Jared, I'm only seeing the compact in here. Is it just me?
It's the green.
I'm
and the
not
red.
100% myself. tonight.
The compact is the brown circle. And the full-size roundabout has the green circle within the brown circle. That would be the grass area. So the full-size roundabout is more kidney shaped or oblong.
That confused me at first too. But yeah.
So they're both on the same drawing?
Yeah, the smaller portion versus the bigger.
Oh, there's
No,
pages.
There's two different
I only
drawings. So
have one.
Page,
I have one drawing.
Compact.
So it's not the red and the green. That's the drawing we have.
Right.
This is the compact.
yeah. And my original that I have that I'm.
What
working
was the
off of-
cost for the full-size one? I mean, I've seen the
So
drawings. It's
what's
not like-
the?
So it's like $100,000 difference.
Yeah. Plus we miss any.
I liked the bigger one.
Okay, yeah. Did you see
Okay,
it? Did you show
Yeah,
it?
well, I had seen the drawings before, but I just didn't see it in the packet. I'll-
It's all right, as long as we can see it now. And you got the recommendation is the one that's in our packet, but you've shown us. I see one more time there. Yep.
The mayor has a question.
Okay, just under discussion, when I had went through this and thought about it, I really preferred the larger one. I feel like a lot of times when we're dealing with traffic, we always end up with more traffic than we expect and we should, I think, be leaning toward more of an oversized situation. So Jared, can you go over again, besides the cost? Was there traffic and I feel like there was even information about how semis could pass easier through the larger one. Can you just talk about the traffic
Yep.
flow and the two and why you still think the compact is okay?
So the full-size roundabout does offer certain truck movements, better access, I guess I'd say, or the better turning movement. The compact roundabout does offer truck movements. Obviously, you have no restrictions in the center, so a truck can go over the island. For that, I don't remember, Kevin, which exact movements were different. Can you explain that for him?
Yeah, right. If you're looking at the compact roundabout in your sheet there, a semi entering the roundabout from the west, County Highway PH, and approaching to the intersection there on the left side of the roundabout as it looks like anything, that semi will not be able to make a right turn and go southbound on Theater Road. They would have to, if they wanted to access State Highway 16, they would have to continue straight through the compact roundabout and access State Highway 16 on the eastern side of Walgreens. So it is, now one thing about that movement there, that is a fraction of a percent that we see when we did the traffic data last fall there on a Tuesday. It was less than 1/10 of a percent. It was 100ths of a percent, that is just a movement that was barely ever seen where a full-size semi would be coming on County PH eastbound and then wanted to make a right-hand turn. Anybody coming southbound on Theater Road will be able to go right or left on County PH. That is the same with a semi would be coming northbound on Theater Road from State Highway 16. We'll be able to make a right-hand and left-hand movement. A larger full-size 53-foot box semi does have to travel over the center of the roundabout. That's the compact nature of it, so it can take tires over it there. But really the only real restriction in the compact roundabout that I can come off the top of my head was that one larger, a 53-foot regular full-size semi would not be able to take a right-hand turn from County PH and go southbound on Theater Road.
And then my other concern was, and end of the day, I'll go with the staff recommendation. These were my concerns. Safety considerations for people that would just be oblivious to the fact that it was a compact roundabout and then just go straight. Is that considered a risk? Because they could drive over the edge into the middle of it?
Yeah, there is some risk to that. I mean, it'll still be a fairly significant, even when they would talk about a mountable curb on that center aisle, it'll still be fairly significant that a passenger vehicle, it would disrupt the driver. And as soon as the driver would hit it, they would become aware that they are, doing something wrong. They wouldn't just be able to continuing traveling through it. The other thing to help with this aspect is we will have, we've been thinking about putting some additional pavement markings down. And even to start, based on what I was talking about earlier on some of those traffic counts, we're looking at actually starting with some flexible tubular markers on the center of the island. So a semi truck would easily be able to go to flatten those over that we've seen on construction projects, but to get residents and the traveling public used to it, they'd actually see those little cones, so they'd know to go around it.
All right.
Yeah, can we get a comment from the chief? Is this gonna be a problem with fire trucks at all?
Yeah, that was gonna be my question if I was asked, and I'm sure, Jared, you have the specs on our new engine, and that is a heavily traveled intersection by the fire department, and it's usually busy when we're going through.
The fire truck turning radius is significantly less than a 53-foot trailer on a semi. So they'll be able to make all the movements through the intersection.
So fire would be able to.
Would be able
on
to,
the
correct,
compact.
correct. In either alternative.
Okay.
So the center part of the circle is gonna be what, pavement or?
Be colored in the compact roundabout, it would be colored pavement that could be driven over by a semi or a large vehicle. In the full-size roundabout, you would still have a truck apron that would be colored, but then have a grass oblong median in the middle.
Okay, so we'll have grass in the center, all right.
So the compact is what you actually have out in front of the Cooley Golf.
Nope.
Main-
Well, that's a full-size round.
Because that's
Size.
paved all the way across.
That's got a tree and
Christmas tree in it, right?
Christmas tree in the middle.
Yeah, but when it's not Christmas time, I don't recall seeing grass there.
There's
They're plants, there's small plants and bark and stuff like that, but there's gotta be.
a pine tree in the middle.
Okay, I guess we need to be more observant. It's not like I don't drive there literally every day.
So is there any planning anything in the center of the oblong one?
If the oblong one was put in, we would plant some landscaping within it that would, we haven't got to that point of what it would be, but it would be probably very similar to the one at Riders Club Road and at Greens Coulee.
Okay, so it will not be like the one out here on the highway on Alaska, where that it has a fairly good sized hill. Where
It would still have a vertical,
The
the one at
first
Greens
snowfall
Coulee
went
has
through.
probably a 3-foot elevation raise in the center.
Oh, 3 foot, okay.
Yeah.
Because that first year that these were out here, it snowed and the girl went straight up over the top and just tore the car completely apart, but so it won't be that large then.
The good thing at this location is it is a relatively low speed area unless you're coming from the north on Theater Road. You can get a low speed gain there, but most of the other legs of the intersection, it's hard to get. It's fairly short runs between their last.
Well, that situation, she was also texting at the same time and snowing and, yeah.
Sabrina.
Yeah, I'm just curious, in both of these examples, they would just be single lane, correct?
Correct, they'd be single lane roundabouts.
I know I've talked to several citizens over the last several months about this as a proposal, and they were universally supportive of putting a roundabout there for sure. So if we do go forward with this, I would encourage you to put the extra yield signs out and everything you can when it first starts again, just like we did in the past, to try to avoid any kind of accidents as people get used to it. But that's of course going to be a couple of years down the road, but yeah, Mayor.
Just regarding feedback from community members that talked to not a whole lot, maybe 5 or 6 different ones. Most of them were very supportive. Only one person was negative, and they felt it was gonna back up the traffic more and it would be difficult to get into the line of the roundabout, but I'm not sure if that's true because I feel like if there's no stopping, the flow is more continuous and it would be more likely that you could get in, it shouldn't be backing up. If it's working.
Through the modeling of the intersection that the consulting engineer performed, for instance, they did not, even during peak movement intervals, the traffic would not back up to the intersection that you can turn either into the strip mall or the McDonald's. So that's one leg that I know we were worried about backing up into that area, and we did specifically ask them.
Yeah, because there's not that much room.
Oh, I know, with the Greens Cooley roundabout, again, I was not an elected official at that time, but I did show up to the public meeting and I was actually opposed to putting a roundabout in it, because I was convinced it would still back up, based upon the stoplights over at the interchange. And in this particular case, I was proven I couldn't be more wrong. That roundabout over at Greens Cooley works very, very well. So again, I was 100% on the wrong side on that tape. I can't imagine it would be different here.
Okay.
Yes, Jared.
It's for the cost differential, if the signs were not in the way in this scenario, just to be conservative, I think, I probably would go with the larger roundabout, but I think with the signs having to be moved, the cost, it's like 18% more. It's not in the budgeting of the project. It's not like it's a double cost to the project to go with the bigger roundabout. So I guess, it's a matter of how conservative we want to be, I guess, as a city in what we want to install. We've been told by our consultant and what staff has looked at that we think both options will work and will be safe and will accomplish the goals that we set out for the project. It's just how conservative do we want to be, I think is kind of where we're at.
Jared, what signs are you talking about that have to be removed? Stop signs?
No, the Cooley Bank sign and the Wells Fargo sign will both be impacted by the full-size roundabout.
Either one of them would make a huge improvement. There's no doubt in my mind. So. Is there any other elected official who wants to have any kind of input on this? Yeah, Dan.
So I actually bank at Cooley Bank and I end up typically going there about 5 days a week. So my concern is I've noticed at times, and I think Jared had alluded to this, heading south on Theater Road, presently, sometimes that can back up all the way to PH. I'm not kind of for or against the roundabout, but my concern is what would happen if the traffic at Highway 16 is stuck at the light and you had too many people wanted to come in, it would affect three different ways. Right now, if you're heading south and there's no room, you just either go a different way or you wait there. But if you enter the roundabout, I could see potentially that could be a problem. And if somebody were to try to turn into McDonald's, left turn heading south, that could cut that time or that space that you have even more. Incidentally, I also spoke with the market president of Cooley Bank and they didn't have an issue with the roundabout. So that's just
Okay.
food for thought.
Thanks, Dan. Anyone else? Larry.
Yeah, Jared, is there gonna be a change to the timing of the light on 16 related to this? Because sometimes all you get through is 3 or 4 cars and that's it.
Yeah, the DOT, Wisconsin DOT controls the timing of that light. I have been trying to watch, I actually live out in that area, so been trying to watch the timing of that light when the intersection was constructed with the alternate left turn lanes on 16. They actually changed the signage on our entrance street. So if you notice that before that project, you could go straight from the left turn lane was a straight and left turn, and the right turn was a right turn only. Now it's just the opposite. It's a right turn and straight. The left turn is
Straight and left.
this solitary movement. Part of the reasoning for that is that they then are trying to get the left turns onto 16 as fast as they can, saying limit the green time. They're obviously timing their system for through traffic on 16. And it's almost like limiting the traffic onto the through route on 16 while they're trying to move the traffic. There's times where it has been, as Alder Stevens has stated, I have noticed that's been getting close to the intersection. I haven't seen it in the intersection yet, but it does. It is starting to stack up. So at some point, we're going to have to make a request to the DOT traffic engineer and see if they can add some time or something like that. So
I know with the traffic for Hy-Vee now, that's increased so much more out there.
that was the other reason I wanted to wait and, kind of see how Hy-Vee stabilizes. I mean, obviously the first 2 weeks, like anything when it opened, it was even busier and it probably will be. So we're still kind of monitoring it and trying to keep that in mind with what's going on. I think we can, whichever choice is chosen for the roundabout installation at this intersection, if we have traffic that's backing up in the intersection, we can go to the DOT and see if we can get more green time on the through route. And I think they would accommodate that. They're typically trying to work with us on problems in the transportation system. So.
Here.
I just have one more question. Does the DOT have any jurisdiction over what goes on here because of the proximity? So I thought other times when we've had an intersection that, like, for example, the 16 East Main, they take over what needs to happen, and this one is exempt for some reason.
It's not exempt. They just haven't identified it as enough movements that, and it hasn't backed up onto their system. So that at State Trunk Highway 16 in East Main, the light that's at Marketplace and East Main is a City of Onalaska owned street light. But the DOT performs all the maintenance on it, and we pay the electricity bill, but then they control the timing of it because it was backing up traffic onto the state highway, trying to make left turns. So if you've ever driven to that intersection, you get a left turn on East Main Street, it continues with, you'll notice you always get the green to go into Marketplace toward Walmart. And they had to do that because they just had so much traffic, it was just causing their system to just not work at all. It was taking up the whole lane. So we did have to work with them on that. We have not had anything with this project or intersection that we've had anything that we've noticed that. I guess with the Hy-Vee opening, that's going to change traffic patterns out there, but we haven't had anything like that. So the DOT, the crux of it is the DOT has not come back to us requesting any kind of control at this intersection.
Stan.
Thank you, Chair. So Jared, I have two quick questions. Is this the cost of this 100% the city's responsibility, and confirm for me construction is set for 2024 at this time?
Yeah, so the construction right now is slated for 2024. That would be based upon right-of-way acquisition for the project. That would be our major hurdle. This project did receive local road improvement funds, discretionary funds. We applied for discretionary competitive monies through the state, through the Wisconsin DOT, and we did receive those funds. I think we received approximately $374,000 for this project, which also includes, this project will also include milling of the pavement, taking off the top 2 inches and repaving all the way back to Midwest Drive to the signal light. So of this, there's probably, once you get done with whatever you got, you're going to have probably another $250,000 for the milling and overlay on top of this for the total project cost.
The cost you quoted here, either the 690 or the 581.1, that's city budget cost. That's capital improvements budget.
So what we have is there'll be another $250,000 for the rest of the project. And of that, then we'll subtract 374 in the state grant.
Another 200.
So the roundabout is one portion of the project. The overall project cost will be approximately, if you choose the full size roundabout, will be It's 900, just under $1 million. And if you choose the compact roundabout, it'll be just under $900,000. And of that, the city is receiving a $374,000 grant toward the project,
Okay, so then you take 300,000 off
374.
374, so you're looking at approximately 726K for the full project and then 626K-ish for the compact is what the city cost would be, including the additional paving.
It'd be somewhere 600,000 for the full-size roundabout. 1 million minus 374.
Oh, yeah, I got a $100,000 error in there, 626.
I think
It's
the difference
526.
between the two is roughly 100,000.
Roughly $100,000.
The cost to the city, not the
Right.
cost of the project.
But I still want to look at the total cost, because remember, next year when we do capital improvements, it's gonna be a tighter budget. So, you're looking at either 626, 620, somewhere around there, or 520-ish. Okay, and of course, you get better figures added into the next year's proposed budget, so.
Correct. This project will actually be budgeted for construction in 2024. So we did budget funds for this 2023 budget for right-of-way acquisition.
Right.
To start that project, yes.
Jared, do you have a rough count on traffic count on either of these?
I think this intersection has, it's like 5,500, six. Yeah, which depends which leg you're on, but there's anywhere from 5,000 to 7,500 cars coming in and out of it.
City administrator.
And I guess I just was gonna make clear, and Jared, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, we've pretty much committed to this project. I
Correct.
understand that each individual budget obviously stands alone, but we have, gone far enough down this process that we.
I think we're just deciding if it's a compact or the full
Right.
size. That's what the discussion is, not.
I wasn't sure, it was veering a little like.
No,
No, I was, yeah.
Out if I.
Okay.
But I still want to look at totals and not just, it's 100,000, but it's actually not 100,000. It's 626 or 526, or give or take a few. Okay, well, I guess my view is so long as there's not an issue with emergency vehicles getting by, that we probably should consider, in my personal take on it, the compact. Again, it's $100,000 cheaper, and that could very well be the difference of whether or not we get another paving project done next year. Yes.
Leanne Alder Stokes would like to
Okay,
comment.
Leanne, please.
Thank you, Chair. The question I had was for Jared, because you're using grant money, Jared, for a portion of this, is there a deadline when that grant money everything needs to be completed on it?
The local road improvement program usually has a 6-year sunset window, and we receive the funding. Their funding cycles run July 1st to June 30th. So it was just approved this last cycle. So we've got 5 years plus years yet to get it constructed.
Okay, thank you, Jared.
Any other comments, concerns?
One more quick question. Comparing this to Greens Coulee, that circle, is that about the same amount of traffic, or? Because there you have 2 lanes, this is one.
Yeah, so that has 20,000 cars a day coming into the intersection from East Main, and about 3,500 coming out of Green Coulee.
Okay,
So that's dramatically different. We would not be able to get that kind of traffic through a single lane roundabout.
so the traffic flow shouldn't make a difference on which size we get. The bigger.
No, they both have been run through the computer model to look at the flow of the traffic, and the compact and the full size will work.
Sorry, I have one more question,
Yes,
Jared.
Go ahead, Sabrina.
So, the single lane, will that make Theater Road single lane as well? You switch that to single lane?
So as part of the project, we are looking at turning Theater Road from Midwest Drive to PH into a 3-lane facility. So it'll have a 2-way left turn lane in the middle and 1 through lane on each way.
Thank you.
Say that again?
You say that again, I wasn't.
So the Theater Road, as part of this project, which was presented during the public information meeting, we will restripe as part of the milling. Theater Road from the light at Midwest Drive to the roundabout as a 3-lane facility. And when we say 3-lane facility, we mean 1 lane going each direction and a center turn lane. So it'll have a 2-way left turn lane. So everyone turning into, let's say, Prolly Center or one of the driveways along there will actually get into the turn lane, and all the through traffic will be on the single lane. That facility having anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 cars a day, that design standard can accept almost 15,000 cars a day. So we feel we can move that traffic very adequately through there with that cross section.
That's not on the design now, is it?
That's part of this project. That's part of the project will be to pave that and stripe Theater Road down to Midwest Drive.
But I'm saying that's not on the diagram. that-
No, it's not in the diagram. There's a separate diagram that was presented at the public information meeting.
Will that create any problems for people turning left out of Poly Center?
Turning
You
left
did-
out of.
So, because sometimes it backs up for people trying to turn in, and so if you're now having to go to an outside lane and you have reduced visibility because people are waiting to turn.
The good thing is if you turn left, you got the refuge of the two-way left turn lane because there's no left turn going to the west. So you could theoretically move out into the 2-way left turn lane and then go out.
Okay.
So
I just want to make sure that we also give consideration to pedestrians and bicyclists moving through this roundabout. Is there a significant difference between the compact and the other version?
I guess as far as the,
And I see the crosswalk there, but what,
as far as the bicyclists will take to the road at a roundabout. That is a class A bicyclist would someone with children or whatever would use the sidewalk, but each one has a crosswalk built into the roundabout cross section. And they're really, by the time we got everything done, we really accommodated all the movements.
Any other discussion, questions, concerns?
The only thing I will say for pedestrians with the full-size roundabout on the PH to the east, the crosswalk does have a kink to it. It has a bend, which isn't typically you want to try and have the roundabout crosswalks try and be straight across, but that's the with the McDonald's driveway, that's the best we could get at that location.
okay, what's the motion on the floor?
We don't have one. I'll entertain a motion. If not, I'll make one.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the compact roundabout at PH and Theater Road.
Second.
Motion made to adopt the alternative 1 compact roundabout design made by Jared, seconded by Larry. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed. Motion.
Yep.
Motion passes.
I have a second part to this also.
Okay.
So part of, if you look in the email that was included from our design consultant, we are looking at 2 different design alternatives. And we are looking at if in the last paragraph, page 10 of the email, for a closed situation versus open traffic, we would anticipate approximately 30 working days or 6 to 8 weeks if the intersection is closed. And 50 working days, which would be 12 to 14 weeks if Theater Road is kept open to northbound and southbound traffic with PH closed. So that was the one thing that probably came up more so at the public information meeting than anything was what are we going to do with the traffic during construction? And the comments we received were pretty much split. If you factor out, don't do it at all, because one of the businesses didn't want any disruption. I know there was one business that was adamant they wanted access during the project. Another business that we talked to, they want to get it completed as quickly as possible. So we're just looking for direction on what we would like to move forward with as far as the construction schedule. You got anything to add, Kevin?
Yeah, I would say, as a city engineer, I would be in favor of having the intersection closed during construction. That'll provide the safest thing to the people constructing it, traveling public. We will be able to provide the city with a better product at a lower cost, ultimately by allowing it to be closed. All of the businesses that do abut this intersection do have driveway access that would be outside the closure. So Wells Fargo, Cooley Bank, McDonald's, what was the auto parts store on the southwest corner, they would all still have driveway accesses as they still stand today. It would be more dead end kind of accesses to get there, but they would still be able to get there. Especially if you go with the mini roundabout, those will be some very tight lanes. We're going to talk about 8 to 9 feet in width with cones all over the place. I just feel that the advantages to closing the roundabout will far offset anything from having it open under traffic.
Safety wise, I gotta agree.
What were the weeks? How many weeks if it's totally closed?
6 to 8 weeks. We do have, we will, if we did close it, we would set up a detour route on Broad Street. And work with that. So we do have for through traffic, we do have a detour route to get them around fairly good. And the roads have all been repaved, so they're in good condition.
I move that we close the intersection during the construction period.
Second,
Do we have any date for starting at all, or we're too far away?
Too far away, too far away. I would hope we could bid this in the spring and it would be early in the year project, but I can't guarantee that right now.
I just, I'd rather see us go through more pain for a shorter amount of time than having, especially with that restricted area, a significant safety issue over a protracted amount of time. I actually think the stress to the citizens will ultimately be greater if we keep prolonging this. So that's just my own personal view.
What was the time period for Greens Coulee? That was.
Oh, wow. That was-
We
never
had to
down.
keep, for that, we had to keep Green Coulee open. So
Right.
we had to do a couple of very small stages where we really didn't get a lot of work done, but we had to because we had to keep traffic coming in and out. So it ended up being 2.5 months.
Right.
More than that.
Really, we started in April and
Oh, that, I forgot, box.
with the
culvert.
box culverts. and
Box culvert.
Construction, maybe traffic to motorists started May 1 and we opened it live for traffic in the middle of September. So 4.5 months. Those aren't really apples to apples. One good comparison we'll see on this that's already in and will be bid out in the coming months is we have a mini roundabout coming to Riders Club in East Avenue North. And we will be doing the same procedure where we'll be shutting that down and have the same timeline. I think it's even shorter, maybe 5 to 6 weeks of a closure there. So we'll get a good sense, not only on the construction for the closure, by the time we go live with this roundabout at Theater Road, traffic will already have been through one of these mini roundabouts. We'll already have one in use by the time we get into this one and actually start it.
So.
Do we need a second for the mayor's?
No, it's already seconded. Yeah, we're in the discussion right now. So we had a motion by the mayor, seconded by myself to do the closure. You had the first discussion point. For me, again, no matter what we do, we're going to have folks who are going to be upset. We've seen that in the past with previous construction projects. But lo and behold, when they're over, I've heard nothing but positive, for instance, on the Greens Coulee one, which is in my district. And yeah, I had a lot of complaints during the construction, but now everyone's pretty happy. I expect this probably to be the same, so a lot of people will be upset. And then when it's over, I think everyone will be very pleased. So fortunately, sometimes you have to sacrifice and suffer to get a good outcome. So any other discussion or questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, anything else on the roundabout? All right, item number 7, City Hall generator site selection. Back to Jared.
Thank you. In your packet tonight on page 16, we show the proposed location of the generator for the City Hall generator project. Currently, the generator sits actually right outside
I'll
behind
have
the
a page
council chambers
16.
here. But with the installation of the new generator, trying to meet code for the all the equipment and different things, the transformer and things that are out there, we would end up putting in a concrete wall that would be approximately $50,000 to install. So we looked at, are we missing that?
I don't have a page 16. It goes 15 to 17 in my packet.
Same with mine.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
Does anyone else want to see this as well? Do you? Yeah.
So
It's fine.
the proposed location, for those of you that have been here for a while, it's Fred's parking spot. So,
Fine.
we, right outside of the dumpster enclosure, there's 3 parking stalls that are for general use. And then there's 2 handicap stalls. And this would consume at a minimum 1 stall next to the dumpster enclosure. And we would be actually recommending the removal of 2. That way it would allow us to put in some landscaping to screen the new generator. That would get some plantings in front of it, get a little bit of grass, and that way it could be screened that way. So we really just wanted to bring this forward, I mean, obviously every parking stall closest to the building is at a premium. But we felt that this was the most logical spot to put it and be cost effective at that time.
When you say screen, is that can be like a security fence as well, or?
No, I guess we haven't gotten it totally down yet, but I would just envision some plantings. We can put a fence in front of it.
Encourage you to consider it.
PVC vinyl fence, we could do that too.
There'll be a locked enclosure.
It will be in a locked enclosure.
Yeah,
so
right.
it'll-
The generator itself will be inside a locked enclosure, not only for safety of access, but also for sound.
Sound.
too.
Got it.
So.
Excellent. Okay. That's kind of where I was going with it. So, all right.
So I guess we don't necessarily need a motion if we just think, we want to bring it to your attention that if the project moves forward, that's where the new generator will be placed.
So the 48,000 is unbudgeted.
We did not have that in the budget. So if we wanted to move it back here, we'd had to see how it bids and where we came in at.
So where are you gonna get the money from?
If we move it over here, we don't need the $48,000 wall.
Save it.
Yeah.
Anyone have concerns with the proposed location? Okay, sounds like you have your guidance. Item number 8, Stormwater Management Public Education Outreach Cooperative Agreement. Jared,
I'm just going to start it off here, but Kevin actually runs this. He's been going to these meetings for a number of years now. This is a continuation from our first permit in 2010. We've had this group that has been working together in the La Crosse County, all the MS4 stormwater groups. This would be an extension from 2023 through 2026 for this mutual agreement. We are required by the permit, our MS4 permit, stormwater permit, to have public education. We would be at a $5,494 budget number, and this has been very effective over the years for what we've been incurring for costs. I'll let Kevin kind of describe a little bit of what happens.
Yeah, right. So as the consortium or group, we try to educate not only the general public, but businesses, leaders on stormwater runoff. Trying to make sure that even a small amount of assistance is a great help to here where we are in the Cooley region with all the water bodies we have. So we run an annual campaign. It really does this. It's the Soak It Up Award, where businesses or private citizens can put on display how they help stormwater runoff within their facility. And that has been a great help. We have the award's probably been going on for 7 or 8 years now, and we have multiple winners within the city of Onalaska. Actually, we have as part of this thing, we put signs at each of the winners. So if you'd ever stop by Northern Hills Elementary School, there's Spruce Street. They have a little rain garden for some runoff, and there's a sign there about the plants that are in there and how the kids take care of it. Misty's Dance on 12th Avenue South was also a previous winner in this. So this is just a very good program to help, like Jared said, meet our permit, but also get citizens involved and how they, even just a small amount of prevention can go a long way.
is this something you need action on, or
We would, yeah,
just our approval of the agreement?
yep.
Okay. I'll move that we approve the Stormwater Management Public Education Outreach Cooperative Agreement.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 9, Midwest Drive Public Information Meeting for proposed 2024 construction.
Included in your packet tonight is the public information notice for the PIM meeting that's going to be held this Thursday, December 8th from 4:30 to 6 at City Hall. We have invited the public in for this meeting, including all the adjacent and area landowners via mail. So if anyone's out there, we would appreciate anyone coming into that meeting. Give us input.
All right. Thank you.
Do you need a motion?
No, it's just,
Every time's a meeting.
4:30 to 6 PM in this council chambers at City Hall.
All right, item number 10 are pay estimates. We do have a updated copy that was provided to us this evening. It should have had it at your station. It basically adds 2 additional pay estimates. You should have one that says with 14 line items as opposed to 12. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the pay estimates dated December 6, 2022. There are 14 items.
Second.
Motion to approve, yes.
Sure, I'll go.
You want to go through 'em?
No. Go through the motion. I'd like to say something. during
Okay.
discussion.
Motion to approve the pay estimates, 14 items by Mayor Kim and seconded by Larry. Is there any discussion? Yes, Kevin.
Yeah, I'd just like to bring in the point, excuse me. Item 2, this will be the final pay estimate for the 2022 utility project. Just wanted to take a moment to, excuse me, thank our project partners in that one. St. Patrick's Parish, St. Patrick's Elementary School, the United States Post Office and Center 90. This project could not have been completed without their help. I just want to put that on the record.
I can also tell you, it was, you communicated very, very well with all those organizations. I was party, of course, those emails as they were going out. So thank you very much. I think that's the key thing. Anytime there's that construction piece, as we mentioned on the roundabout, there's going to be stress and there's going to be folks who are not going to be happy about the inconvenience. But we can reduce that significantly by keeping the people informed as to where, you know, the project is and what other inconveniences they may have on a short-term basis as well. So thank you to Public Works and the engineers for sending out all that information. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. That concludes the Board of Public Works portion. We now move on to utilities. Item number 11, there is no report, which brings us to item number 12. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
There, motion to adjourn by myself, seconded by Mayor Smith. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Time is 7:29. Thank you very much, folks.